All right, that time of season again. I'm 6th on the board. Fucking mow the foe. All right, that's cute. That's actually adorable. Boston, I don't care. Grant, you know what? Don't really need to worry about him sniping anything from under me. Oh God, I just realized 13 the show. We're not even ready for 14. Oh, this sucks. All right, well, gotta make do with what we've got. What do we got here? Swami. Wait, Paul Goldschmidt. The fuck? I need like 10 years to figure out why that just happened. What even the shit? All right, I think this entire board just got fucked. That was a dumb fucking pick. Shit. Auto pick. Rise above gaming pick Goldschmidt as his first over Miguel. I need that to like settle in for like. No, hold on. I gotta get that out of my head. Who's up now anyway? Load. Big guy. Shit. Okay. Well, I can kind of kiss Cargo goodbye now on two fronts. If it's big guy and he actually shows up, he's picking Cargo. If not, he's getting an auto draft, which is still Cargo. Fuck. All right, who do I start looking for? Adam Jones does typically fall. Then who do I make my first pick? I don't want to go with pitching just yet. Last year that fucked me over. I don't want to end up with another David Price situation. Ah, shit! Clock time. Jones. Prince. Tullo. Wait, Tullo can fall because he's always injury prone. Sign me up for Prince. MVP status, baby. Let's go. Come on. It's got to be a big year. Hey, yo guys, this is Jared, aka the SAINTofSINS on Xbox Live, coming to you finally with this behind-the-scenes look of my Sports CMM Final Four video, as was promised at the beginning of the month. A lot of things have been distracting me and kind of keeping me from doing this video, as you can kind of hear in the background. I've got to contest with a lot of different things going on. Today is probably the closest to a quiet day as I'm going to get, so let's just jump straight into this. One of the biggest things that I ended up trying to do for the video was this piece right here, the very intro, the thing to establish what the teams would look like and why we're getting the teams that we're getting. This took about 3 days to construct completely from scratch in Photoshop. One of the biggest things that I needed to do was to go in and do a lot of mock drafts just to kind of study how things moved, kind of get an idea as to how things light up and interact with one another. So to really get everything kind of flowing just right, it required a lot of understanding, you know, where my keyframes are, what time I'm looking at. At the end, I end up with the final product, which is mostly controlled on this composition. And one of the bigger things that needed to be controlled was the mouse movement and all the stuff that the mouse is interacting with on the screen. That took a little bit of time. A lot of this is unorganized because I kind of had to rush myself to kind of get through to the end. I didn't quite approach this in as organized a fashion as I would have liked. And I know a lot of people had originally thought that this was just a screen grab. No, this was all done completely from scratch, and the original scene, as you can see, was a lot longer. And as a matter of fact, that was purposely done for two reasons. The first one being I had multiple scenes in mind that I wanted to kind of, you know, go further down the actual draft process to kind of show, you know, more than just the fact that I opened up with picking Prince Fielder. I actually wanted to go in and show more of the later grabs that I had gotten that would contribute to the actual gameplay. The other reason was I had in mind that I also wanted the gameplay to only run 4 minutes at most. of course, I kind of, winged on that in the final product, because I just thought that it would be funnier to kind of go with that ending where I didn't quite make it, but I still try to sell it like I did make it. Another aspect to that was, as I was cutting the gameplay footage, I completely forgot, certain elements that I just wanted to stick in, and there were a lot of cuts there that I kind of felt like, I didn't want to make, but ultimately I had to. Before I jump back into the gameplay, the one thing that I kind of, I really prided myself on for this intro and the work that I put into it was the fact that I really wanted to kind of make it look as realistic and as authentic to an actual ESPN fantasy draft. But I still wanted to kind of implement some things to kind of showcase that, I had a hand in the creation, and that's where the text box comes in. A lot of story was put into this area. It was more so to kind of do more than just say, here's me versus Swami. It's really supposed to showcase more me versus all these other guys as well, but the gameplay is of course just going to focus on me versus Swami. We weren't just going head to head against each other. Of course, we were going head to head against 8 different guys as well, who were also vying for players for their teams. And I also had in mind as part of to bring that together was I was going to slip in some highlights of a different game, and I was going to do Big Guy's team against Rise Above Gaming's team, who picked Paul Goldschmidt as his number 1 overall. And the reason I decided to go with that was because those two had big influences on my draft board, and the bigger ones that I felt highlighted the intro itself. The first element of pulling this all together was the introduction of Swami's team and my team. And one thing that I had in mind was I wanted to kind of have the players just be shown rather than me try and rattle off or you having to read the names. I wanted it to be visually expressive and visually interesting to look at. So one of the ideas that I had originally was I was going to showcase the players as they're stepping into the batter's box, but that would take much more time. Whereas this idea kind of came to me a bit late, and it was mostly just going over the players to make sure that everyone was on the proper roster. Thanks to Swami, I was able to cut down on a lot of time getting the gameplay together, because he was gracious enough to help me pull together the rosters and put the players on the right teams. The pieces that are involved here, there's actual movement once the player spins around. See, at this point, the only thing moving here would be the mask. This was a bit of a challenge for me because one, I had never really done something like this before, and two, I was rushing against time because all of the post-production work happened on Thursday and Friday, mostly on Friday though. I was able to get this part done and replicate it for all the players as they're spinning through, and that took a little ingenuity to kind of figure out how to get it so that way it all looks stationary when pulled together for the actual composition here. The transition where it transitions between the end of showcasing Swami's team and then coming over into my team. Obviously this is not transparent at all, and that took a little bit of time to kind of, it's a little touch, it's only 3 frames, but I felt it was something that kind of bled everything together properly to make it seem more seamless. When we get down to the actual gameplay itself, I had a little bit of issue with it. At first, I wanted to avoid having to do some of the tricks that I used in my second round video, which was manipulation of the actual gameplay footage. Like, one of the things that I had done in that second round video was, instead of just flat out losing games by the scores that I wanted or playing to pitch counts that I needed, I would just grab that information from one gameplay footage and implement it into another one to kind of set the tone, set the mood. Here I wanted it to be authentic all the way through. The only instance where I tried to cheat the game was in the end with Yasiel Puig leading off the ninth. I had set the sliders all the way up for contact, power, and timing, so that way I could just walk off with Yasiel Puig on a no-doubter. Instead, he ends up rolling over the first pitch he swings at back to the catcher. So then I said, okay, well, that's obviously not going to work. We're going to have to work for extra innings. Let me just scale everything back and play as usual. And next thing I know, very first pitch with Matt Wieters that I could swing at, walk-off shot. I mean, with the telling of the gameplay, I just, you know, some of the things that I did were more for time constraints rather than just for kind of filling things in properly. There's just so much going on, and you know, like if I get in real close, you can kind of see that there was a level of detail added here that necessarily didn't have to be added, but I wanted that to kind of to make it seem more like it's part of the game. But of course, you know, there is one part where I completely fucked up on, and there it is. It's one frame. It happens so quickly that you don't really pick up on it. But it's one of those instances where I just, like, you know, I look back on it and cringe and just realize, damn, I wish I had more time with this project to kind of tighten it together better, because, you know, to me that's just sloppy work. And really, it's just, you know, added detail to something that not many people are really gonna catch or are really gonna care to see, because there's so much else going on the screen at once. At this point, I felt Final Four, I need to do a lot more. I need to come out with something stronger. And after putting in the effort and the time to kind of pull together something like this, I realized, you know what, I can get away with doing practically anything I want visually and it'll still look stunning. But I think that's pretty much all that really needs to be said about the project. It's just a lot of masks, a lot of understanding the program, really just trying to be deceptive with certain aspects of the gameplays, of the footage, really. And in the end, probably my best video that I could have done in literally a day, because again, most of the work was all done on a Friday. I mean, commentary, getting the music, tweaking the sounds, tweaking the footage visually, just a lot was done on that one day. Nothing else I can say, really. I just want to thank you all for joining me for this special video. Hopefully you'll have enjoyed this little banter of mine, explaining some of the behind the scenes detailing of the video. I will try and see you guys a little bit more often, regularly on this channel. Until then.